success from the international cinema here. We have with us now Jet Tarantino, who's a Tony Award winner, who's the producer of the film Lingua Franca. This Lingua Franca is the first movie to be written and directed and acted by a transgender. The movie describes you the story of Olivia, her tryst with a slaughterhouse boy, and how the movie progresses. We have with us Ramazan Nanayev, who is the director of the movie Roads to Olympia, which describes the story of Roma, Mono, and Manuel, three athletes fighting against cultural and social discrimination to fight in the Olympics, the Rio de Janeiro Olympics. We have also with us Zavaz Jevis, the director of Heartburst, the movie which portrays the story of Marcus, who is having slight orientation towards pedophilia and how he overcomes it. We have also with us Ivan Bernev, who is portraying Pavel in the movie The Father. This is a nice story which deals with post-life communication and the psychology associated with that.
Okay. Well, it's very groundbreaking film. Again, for those who do not know, Lingua Franca is the first film in the world to be written and directed by a trans woman. Not just any trans woman, but a trans woman of color. It's groundbreaking in the sense that we're not just for the LGBTQ rights. If you're familiar with the political atmosphere in the United States with the current government, so we're also defying that. So all throughout the films, we were showing how immigration is in a very precarious situation, and also there's the ageism, how we take care of our elders. So it's Russian, it's Filipino, and American story put into one.
Okay. Roads to Olympia is one movie in which we can easily relate with how we fight cultural oppression, gender discrimination to come to the top of the world. So what motivated you and your Beacon Foundation to come up with such a movie? Can you please elaborate on that?
Sure. Roads to Olympia is a very personal story. It was inspired by my experiences as an athlete, but also by those who are very close to me. It was my dream to be an Olympian. But in high school, my senior year, when I was ready to go to college and compete at the higher level, I've learned that I was an undocumented immigrant living in the United States. And most of the scholarships that and grants that I received, I couldn't accept because of it. So that led me to drop out of college and indirectly brought my athletic career to an end. So at that point, I concentrated on my filmmaking career, and I decided to tell a story of athletes who wanted to make it to the next level of competition, but the competition wasn't their biggest obstacle. It was the things that they dealt with on a cultural, societal, and socioeconomic level. And in the film, each story was inspired by, the Russian story was inspired by my best friend who was a gay closeted athlete, and I've seen he struggled to come into terms with his sexual identity. I was born into a Muslim family, and have seen how my sister was treated differently than that was. So that inspired the Saudi story. And in Brazil, Afro-Brazilian character is trying to get his mother out of poverty. And that story was inspired by my upbringing in Russia. My parents lost their jobs after Reconstruction and never really recovered, so I grew up in a community where kids didn't have much access to opportunity.
Also, the CEO of Beacon Revolt.
Yes.
So, Can we know more about that?
Sure. Beacon Revolt is a production house that produces impact-driven films, where we're not only trying to make films to entertain our audiences, but also use the films as a way to support NGOs that are doing amazing work and tackling social injustices and inequalities around the world. So Rose Olympia is a perfect example of such film where we want to use it as a call to action and tie it to a social good campaign that will be released at the same time as the film early next year.
Okay, great. Thank you for the information. Hello, Mr. Shevis. Your movie which deals with life, afterlife, apparition. In fact, that's the name of another movie that you have done. So can we know more about your movie, Father?
Sorry, I don't have to explain my movie, or because
the concept behind the movie.
yeah, if you ask me what motivated me, it's yeah, I like doing movies about our outstanding characters, outsiders, and so we have this topic about a pedophile, in a lot of movies, but we know exactly then who is the good guy and who is the bad guy, and I wanted to make a movie about a pedophile from his perspective, and to show a human being.
So Marcus, after a life of being an architect, he slowly re-Christians himself into a sexual offender, or is it part of a normal psychological evolution?
I didn't get this.
The main protagonist of your movie, Marcus, right?
Yes.
How he transitions from his life as an architect to a person who involves in pedophilia.
There's no transition. That's what the movie shows, because it's given. It's naturally given, and no one can do anything about it. And that's one of the main things of the goals of the movie, to show that in a dramatic way, because for example, I'm lucky that I'm not a pedophile, but I'm not, I have nothing done about it that I'm heterosexual. And I think anyone, no one has a decision in his life to say, oh, I want to be homosexual, I want to be heterosexual, or I want to be pedophile. And you don't have this decision in your life, you're just...
That's true. Yeah. We have one more guest on the dais now, Yang Shik-soo, the actress of the movie The Balloon, which is done in the backdrop of the serene Tibetan landscape. How a simple contraceptive device takes the protagonist through many embarrassing scenes in the movie. We now have with us Mr. Bernaim, if I am pronouncing that correct.
Yeah.
Bernaim. So you have portrayed Pavel. Can we hear about your experience in the movie, how you have done that role, which has got paranormal elements to it? The storyline contains paranormal elements in which an afterlife, a phone call, these things are introduced. So, can you share the experience?
Okay. This movie is I'm acting, just acting, not creating the script. The script is written from both directors. They are a couple, Kristina Grozeva and Petr Volchanov. Actually, their previous movies are made from articles from the newspaper. For example, the first one, The Lesson, is the article called A Teacher Robbed a Bank. The second one is Railway worker found a 2 million leva, it's about 1 million euros, and returned it back to the state. He's a poor man, of course. And The Father is not part of the trilogy. it's based on a story that happened to one of the directors when his mother died. Um, exactly, maybe one day or maybe during the funeral, there was a phone call from the phone of the mother that was calling to neighbor, and of course it's in the mood that they cannot think about anything about that, but after that they start to imagine what she was trying, maybe. Of course, there is a rational explanation of that. It's a voicemail, of course. But what if she wants to connect with them? What did she? What is she? Does she want to tell him? Okay, this is the beginning of the story. But if the other two movies are more social, this movie, they wanted to do more connected to family, more in a humanic way. How we different generations lost the connection between us and our parents. Why is that? Why is that? When we lose that connection, and this movie, of course, could be very sad, but they were trying to, because their previous movie wasn't comedies, of course, and that's why they tried to do that movie with the elements of comedy, if I can say.
Thank you so much. In the movie Science of Fictions, Sima, the main protagonist, portrayed by Gunawan Marianto, unwittingly sees a filming of moon landing in Indonesia, and it takes a satire course which is related to fake news. At that time, it was one part of the world completely disbelieved that man had landed on moon. So how you relate? This question is both to the actor and the producer. How you relate the fake news that is happening in the current era related to that era? How do you relate it to the movie?
Okay, thank you. The moon landing, I think, only trigger for our movie. Our movie is a story about Siman, the character who cannot speak up about the truth because his tongue is cut it because he saw the moon landing film making. So this is related with the about social politic in Indonesia during Soeharto era, when we as people cannot speak up about anything because our tongue is cut it by government, and many things happen since 60 because massacre in Indonesia, communist many communist party in Indonesia is jailed, kidnapped, and then killed by government. Maybe in 2 million people is killed at that time. So this movie about silence, about how Siman as people try to speak up with his body to tell the story or tell the truth. Okay, thank you.